We want to spend the remaining time talking first about what we haven't talked about. There were a number of important stories that didn't make the list, of course. Megan, we're starting with education. 3 of the 6 people who had a voting say in our group here rated it somewhat highly. The other 3 left it off the list completely. You argued for it, however. Why?
I did. Well, a lot of reasons, Gene. It's one of the governor's big policy items, education reform. It's controversial. We just got more abysmal numbers in terms of our graduation rates.
And a capital A on abysmal. Yes,
yeah,
it was a
and
tough one.
It is going to be, at least, it will be in the legislature, at least in terms of we're going to revisit that land grant permanent fund bill that Alan Sanchez and other people are pushing to take part of the money that is invested through that fund and put it into early childhood. Now, this has been a policy push across the country, and it's actually something I covered when I started working at the Business Weekly, because business people are on board with this around the country.
The idea of early childhood?
Early childhood. The Federal Reserve actually put out a report and said early childhood is a better investment in economic development than, you know, stadiums or whatever else you put in economic development, because the returns, if done right, can be really high. So we're going to see that discussion come up again. And you know, we're in a high poverty state with a lot of crappy social indicators, and there are many people who believe that could help turn things around. So that's going to be an interesting discussion. I don't know where it'll go, but you know.
You know, Jim, when you think about it, we've had people at this table, other people around the state say, how much more money can we throw at this? We haven't done anything to this point. My counter was always, perhaps we haven't reached that line yet. Perhaps we haven't reached that threshold that Megan's talking about. It seems to be a very tough throw here in this state with some people. They don't like the amount of money going towards education.
I agree that there is a constituency that's concerned about the spending, and a big part is that it's just, I mean, what we invest in education, we prioritize it. It's an astronomical number. It's startling when you look at it in the context of the full budget, but there's inherent value for it, and I think that part of the problem is that there isn't, unlike the stadium as you mentioned, there's a sense of a narrow window of cost of investment, and you're going to get a payoff in 5 to 10 years. You invest in early childhood education, millions of dollars. Your that investment's going to pay off in 20, 25 years after someone graduates from college. I think there's just not the patience to wait for it.
That's right. Steve, results, is that the problem here? People want results before they can commit to more money?
That's a big part of it. Our graduation rates are just horrific, and they say, well, we spent all this money, like Jim was saying, we spent all this money, but we're still getting crappy results. So,
is there actually a legit road to success for those who want a ton more dough for this? Is there a road politically for this? Because it's awfully tough in some parts of our legislative body.
Well, I believe it's possible. I
mean, is it bad enough to get movement? I guess that's my better question. How bad is bad to get things moving here on this?
Well, I don't know.
Well, how much better? I mean, what, 60% graduation rate? I mean, how much worse does it have to get?
No, I'm from Santa Fe. It's more like 50. So.
Interesting. Your sense of this, Alexa, from your reporting?
I think that, I think education is something that universally everyone agrees needs to change. It is that bad, in other words. But as far as the money's concerned, I think that's where the rubber hits the road, and people are going to agree on the different ways to do it. I think with early childhood, it would be great to have a sample population. We could choose one school district and try it.
Well, there are a lot of studies nationally that have longitudinal studies, not here necessarily, but because it's
this is like an old story, that old famous story about President Kennedy, way back when, John Kennedy, where the guy said, the first lady likes this certain plant, and the guy says, well, you know what, that only grows like an inch over 20 years, and his response was, well, then plant it at once.
Well,
you see what I mean? This is part of the problem. Somebody needs to plant a seed that's going to have long-term effect and not cut it off when it's just a shoot. It just makes me crazy.
You asked about the political will on a show we had on Public Square about this, and one of the Republican legislators, the argument is like, well, we've got to grow the economy, we've got to grow the tax base, and then we can invest in these things. It's like,
please.
But how do we do that?
Chickens and eggs.
Yeah, it is a chicken and egg. It's,
One more thing. We have no special crystal ball here, so dispense with the pressure. Don't worry about you guys. Jim, I'm going to start with you. I want to know what's on your eyes, all of you, for 2013, starting with you, my man.
2013.
Yeah, what would end up being, at the end of 2013, what would be a big story in your view?
I think that we had the economy on our list this year. Coming through the November election was a talk from every candidate about how we're going to manage the economy differently, how we're going to have a different outcome going forward than we've had so far.
Right.
Issues with the fiscal cliff are still unresolved. There's a lot of question marks. There's an opportunity for government on the state level, on the local level, and on the federal level to actually put into practice some ideas. Whether that works or doesn't work, I think is going to be a critical question of 2013.
Interesting. Megan, your crystal ball, you look at a lot of things all the time. You report on so many different things. What's your sense of 2013? What's going to be a big story by the end of 2013?
I think it'll be interesting to see where we progress in terms of the recession in this state, and where we fall, wherever the fiscal cliff is resolved, what it means for the state, because you know how much we rely on federal spending, and there's been all this talk about, do we need to diversify? I'm like, so is that going to be where the rubber hits the road and we actually start doing that? What's going to happen?
Right.
I'm also interested to see if we do jump on board with the Medicaid expansion, because there's been some interesting studies out of UNM about how much money that can bring into the state.
If the governor decides to get on board with it. Yeah,
and
exactly.
what that might mean for, because again, we have one of the lowest insured populations in the state, and that just has so many ripple effects when you don't have people who can get basic health.
That's right. Interesting. 2013, my friend, what do you think?
Well, being a political animal here, some people may not have recovered yet from this last election, but the reality is the gubernatorial race will be heating up probably in like the summer or something this year. The question is, will Susana Martinez be such a popular governor still, because her ratings are very high, that she scares off most Democrats who don't want to risk being beat? Or will it start to falter and you may have a lot of competition for the nomination? Gary King's already running.
That's right.
And
papers are filed.
Sam Bregman's made some noises, and there may be some others out there. And if her popularity falters, there may be a gold rush there.
Sure. So, as politics go, absolutely an opportunity to
by
rush in.
summer, I bet we've, at least Jim and I and probably others, have written a lot of articles about the upcoming gubernatorial election.
That's right. It's going to be fun. Alexa, your thoughts for 2013?
I have two sleepers. Pension reform.
Yeah.
So boring and so important.
Huge.
Because that's a
Yeah.
kind of a fiscal nightmare for New Mexico now. We're expected to get 8% returns or something like that, which of course is unsustainable. So,
Do you think that could happen this upcoming session, or is it going to take two? One to kind of get warm to the idea, and another one to
I
actually.
think you're probably right, but we're definitely going to be talking about
in
it.
this session.
Yeah.
And the other is our health insurance exchange. Obamacare is starting to take effect. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out, how it impacts all of our health care.
And the ripple effects Megan talked about, that's going to have a big one spreading out all over, and money coming into the state and all that. For me, 2013 is going to be interesting as well. I'm interested in, just like you guys, I think there's a brilliant opportunity in this place we're at now that Megan brought up. There's a chance for some creative problem solving that, look, we have now come so close to bottom now. Now's the time to start getting after some of these things, and 2013 could be the year. We'll see. Thank you all. We love doing these shows. We'll be sure to catch up with all of you during 2013. Thanks a bunch. Thanks for joining us as we wind down 2012. It's been a pleasure to have you with us. I'm Gene Grant. We'll see you next week in the new year in Focus.
This program is part of American Graduate. Let's make it happen. A public media initiative made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.